Hey, listen, so you heard from Frank, and now you're about to hear for two sessions back to back, one before lunch, one after lunch, the guy who has really systematized the entire list building strategy with system after system after system after system after system. He's got them all figured out, most of them anyway. So with that said, marketer extraordinaire in many, many businesses. Really proud of this guy because he first joined my mastermind group, he was still in diapers, and so now he's gotten out of that. So it's great to see him grow such a huge information marketing business, and he's really done it with building the right list and learning how to make that list responsive. Mr. Ryan Deiss.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around. I know you'll need probably might need a break, but you're not getting one, so take that. I know we're running a little bit short on time. I'm going to move and groove through this pretty quickly. I got this really cool thing called PowerPoint. Maybe y'all have heard of it. I don't even know what that is. That's kind of terrifying. We'll just leave that there. And unlike Frank, I can't pull from the hip quite as well, so I prepared some stuff for you guys. I got a lot of really neat examples and stuff from my different businesses that you're going to be able to see here, but if you try to draw out all the pages, you're going to be very frustrated. So if you write this down, drivingtraffic.com/Ryan Handouts. drivingtraffic.com/Ryan Handouts here. You know what? I don't have time to write it. If you can't spell Ryan or handouts, you don't deserve them. drivingtraffic.com/Ryan Handouts.pdf. RyanHandouts.pdf. You'll get PDF versions of everything you see here. So don't freak out about seeing, the exact examples. They'll be in full color. I'm also going to give you guys some cool websites and fun stuff like that. Take notes on the concepts, okay? Don't worry about, the exact specific examples. So I'm going to talk to you guys about list building, how I go about doing it in my different businesses. I mentioned those of you who were in here a couple days ago when I was up on the panel, we've got information publishing businesses. You guys have probably seen me for my internet marketing stuff. I'm happy to report I actually do make more money doing this than teaching it. It's because we're in a number of businesses like currency trading and Forex. We've got a health and fitness division. I'll show you some examples from that. I mentioned we're in the preppers market, urban survival market, which is a fantastic market, especially in this day and age. We've got the relationships market, published a lady by the name of Gigi Sage. A lot of different markets. We also have a chemicals and cleaners manufacturing facility where we manufacture and sell niche chemicals and cleaners, things like bed bug killers and fun stuff like that. And I just got back from China because we do some importing. So we do a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying that to brag. We're kind of saying it to brag. I'm mostly saying that so that you guys can know when I'm showing you examples, it's because we've tested it. And we haven't just tested it in one market. We've tested it across a number of markets, numbers of verticals. So I'm giving you controls. This doesn't preclude you from doing your own testing. You still need to try this stuff out, see for yourself that it works. Do all your own happy, fun testing. But where I'm giving you guys is a starting point. I want to really give you a good shortcut. All right, so let's dive in. There are only 3 ways to win when it comes to building a bigger list and making more money from what I'm going to be talking specifically about email marketing. So I know Dan spoke this morning about a lot of the conceptual stuff, building the iron cage around your herd. So did Frank. I'm talking specifically about how to get more subscribers, how to get more of your emails opened, and how to get more click-throughs. That's it. That's the big secret to making more money with list building. From your list. If you have a bigger list, if you get more people to open your emails, and if you get more people to click on the links in your emails, that's it, you're done. And if you get good at all 3 of these things, obviously now the increase is geometric. So that's what we're going to be talking about during this first session. I'm going to try to blitz through all the little tricks that we do to get more subscribers, the systems that we do to get more subscribers, get your emails open, and get more click-throughs. And then after lunch, I'm going to show you guys a bunch of the sneaky little tricks that we do to increase some conversions, so you're definitely going to want to come back for that. So, part 1, getting more subscribers. The raw materials when it comes to building an online list. If you want to generate a lot of email subscribers, you need a traffic source. right? You got to have traffic. That's got to come from somewhere. That can come from affiliates. That can come from pay-per-click. That can come from media buys. It can come from a number of different sources. We're going to talk about how the source that it comes from can change the way that you go about building your page and can change your offer, but you got to have a traffic source. Now, unfortunately, I don't have, with the time I can't talk in depth about traffic generation. That's a whole other topic. I did an entire 3-day event just on traffic generation. It's a big topic. What I am going to discuss in depth, though, are 2 and 3. I'm going to talk about landing pages, how to build landing pages that convert, and the offer that you make on those landing pages. Because really, I don't care what you're trying to do. I don't care if you're trying to sell something. I don't care if you're trying to build a list. At the end of the day, it comes down to these 3 things. You need traffic, you need a landing page, someplace where people can take action, and you need to make them an offer. That's it. If you're selling something, you need traffic, landing page, and offer. In the offline world, it's the list or the media where you're buying your advertising. It's the sales letter, and it's the order form. This is just the online equivalent of that. Let's talk about landing pages that work and some of the elements. There are a number of different types of landing pages that we're going to be talking about. Short form, long form, Google friendly. That's a biggie. How many of you guys in here advertise on Google? Okay. How many of you guys have heard about the Google slap? How many of you guys got slapped? Big deal. It's a really, really big deal. Google for years was a fantastic source of ultra-targeted, inexpensive traffic. And over the last really year and a half, they've just been kind of systematically weeding out the types of offers and the types of websites that they don't like. It doesn't mean that Google is dead. I've gone on record as saying Google sucks on multiple occasions. I still feel that I'm still not totally happy with them, but I will be the first to admit that those guys still have the cookie, and I want the cookie, and it's their sandbox, so we have to play by their rules. So we're going to talk about how you go about playing by their rules. Reverse squeeze pages, that's another type of squeeze page. Info squeeze pages, and again, don't worry about writing all this stuff down, guys. You're going to be able to get the handouts. Info squeeze, and those are it. So let's talk about short form squeeze pages, because if you guys are trying to build a list, I'm going to show you guys the single highest converting opt-in page that I've ever used. Do y'all want to see that? Okay, this isn't it. This isn't mine. That was a good lead-in, though. So you can see here, this is an example of an ultra short form squeeze page. And this one's blind. You see, it doesn't even make an offer. It just has a big, outrageous promise. How did this investor pocket $1 billion in one day? It's ridiculously simple once you learn the secret. And it just has a place to enter your email address and an opt-in and a button. That's it. That's all there is on this particular form. These work amazingly, amazingly well. This is my version of it from the currency trading market. You can see this one, however, does make an offer. This is my highest converting squeeze page ever. This is it. And what was funny is I started off with a headline, and all it has is just a headline, a call to action, and a place to enter their email address. That's all that's up here. And it started out as a fairly long-form offer. And what I found is when I removed some of the bullet points, conversions went up. Removed a couple of the other bullet points, conversions went up. Removed some of the other copy, conversions went up. So this means I either really suck as a copywriter, or you have to match the offer that you're making with the kind of how high is the barrier to entry. If you're just asking for an email address, in some cases it doesn't make sense to have a really long, drawn-out process. In some cases it does. It all depends, again, on traffic source. But right now, still, what's worked the best, 4 years ago when I first started doing this, and what's working the best today from cold traffic, is this particular offer. Now, you could absolutely never run this opt-in page in Google. They would absolutely slap it. Also, some affiliates won't let you run it. So, because there's no real direct promise of content. This is a pretty aggressive opt-in form. But if you want to get a lot of leads and the traffic's coming from banner advertising and stuff like that, this is a really good one to use. Long form, this is actually the highest converting squeeze page that we're doing today. So this is what's working best today from a general, kind of a general traffic standpoint. So from general traffic, this one plays really well to affiliates because it's got more stuff on it. It can work for a time in Google because it's got some pretty pictures and it just in general looks nice. So some of the important elements, number one, you got to have an attention-getting headline, basic copywriting. Having a graphic of the lead magnet. We're going to talk more about lead magnets and which lead magnets convert the best. But having a picture of what you're giving people is important. We've shown time and time again, but only, this is a biggie, because I've gone to some landing pages and the pictures of the report that they're giving away just look bobo and funky, all right? In that case, it's better to have nothing than to have something that looks cheesy and unprofessional, all right? So this is important. On the internet, people buy pictures. People buy pictures, one of the oldest rules in e-commerce. And people selling products online will spend an absolute fortune to have ultra-professional photographs taken of their products because they understand they buy the pictures. They can't interact with them. They can't hold it. This isn't a traditional retail environment where somebody picks it up, or a bookstore where they grab something, they start flipping through and be like, yeah, that's interesting. They do judge books by their covers. It's all they got. So have a really nice cover. The horizontal opt-in bar. The horizontal opt-in bar that you see below there, but still above the fold, Bill, I gotta give credit to Bill Glazer on this one. I never would have thought that having the little call to action, see the arrow that says get this report free, and then that points to the field, and then to the right of the field is the button. Typically, we've always done these in a vertical format. This horizontal, though, outpulled it. So the horizontal opt-in bar above the fold is what's converting the best right now. Compelling short-form copy, so you still don't need to go on for days and days and days. Oh, here's a biggie, the JavaScript warning pop-up. How many of you guys have seen this? So you see the screenshot over here where it looks like a video that you can play, and it's got the little play button, and you click the play button, and it pops up one of these. Whoa there, Trigger, you can't watch this right now. You got to until you opt in. Who in here has seen that? All right, my bad. I sort of popularized that a year and a half ago, and Frank did it, and Jeff Walker did it, and a lot of people started doing it on their launches, and now they're everywhere. And now every time it's bugging the crap out of me, and I'm like, I got nobody else to be mad at but myself. But the reason that it works is people go, they think they can watch the video, and it's another call to action. So it's an interactive call to action. If you want to see this page, I believe it's at forextradingcheatsheets.com. Forex Trading Cheat Sheets, or forextradingcheatsheet.com. I think it's forextradingcheatsheets.com. Feel free, go to this webpage, have your web designer do a view source, and you can just steal the JavaScript. I don't own it. It's not mine. Y'all can have it. But all that it does is it tells the web page when they click on this image, this warning pop up at the top, and it basically says, whoa there, you can't watch this video until you opt in. So it's an interactive. It's an interactive warning pop. Another biggie on landing pages, if you've got images, and I learned this from Dan Kennedy. If you've got images on a page, the caption next to the headline is the second most read part of the page. The second most read. So if you've got images and you don't have captions, you're missing a huge area of readership. And if you got captions and you're not using them particularly well, you're wasting some very, very valuable real estate. Okay, so have captions, compelling captions under your different lead magnets. The other thing I like to have, people are able to opt in at the top, but in case they scroll, I don't want them to have to scroll back up to take action. So that's why we have another opt-in form down at the bottom. Okay, so this is a template that you guys can use. It's not magical. Okay, don't feel like, Ryan's thing over here, his little headline was 4 words long. I need to make mine 4 words. The structural elements, the key elements that I have here are the ones that you want to focus on. Those are the ones you want to focus on. The big thing that makes this work, though, and kind of the psychology that went into this, is eye path. When you see this, here's what happens to your eye. It starts at the upper left-hand corner. You read Forex Trading Cheat Sheets. Download your complimentary. By the way, we tested complimentary versus free. Complimentary outpulled free. Again, it's not a broad across the ground. I'm not saying like free's dead or anything stupid like that. But when you're dealing with with a higher market maturation, people are used to seeing free so much to the point that it doesn't even resonate with them. Complementary is another way to say it, but it's sort of it's a little bit of a pattern interrupt, I suppose. So here's what happens to the iPath. You read the headline, download your complimentary Forex trading cheat sheets. The I then travels left to right, because that's how we read over here in the West at least. And it sails right down, following the pictures, right down to the bottom. You'll see how that works? So if they see download your complimentary Forex trading cheat sheets, and now they see it, for your low-hanging fruit, they have enough information at this point to go ahead and opt in at that top horizontal opt-in bar. If they don't and they need more information, the I takes them down to the pretty pictures, where they are then sold by the captions, and they end up at the secondary point, the secondary action point. Does that make sense? Okay, are you guys tired? Are you bored? Is this good? Okay. All right. Listen, I have a very, very low self-esteem. Really low self-esteem. And so I need constant feedback. And by the way, thank you. And by the way, thank you, that helps me so much. And just to clarify a point that I made when I was up here on the panel, the male model thing was a total joke. I was completely kidding. People came up to me like, really, you do male modeling? Like, yeah, because there's just a huge market for short, kind of pudgy male models. No. Totally and completely kidding. But thank you so much for your votes of confidence on that. Okay, so in this case, and I'm afraid that if Dan's in here, he's going to throw something at me. But in this case, the copy is intentionally irrelevant. All right? The copy look at how boring it is over there. It's on the left-hand side. Okay? The I goes left to right. The copy is there only for that segment of the market that just has to have more information. There is a certain segment, you can look at this on any adoption rate, whether it be, the adoption rate of the internet or, VCRs back in the day. You got your low-hanging fruit, you got your bigger group in the middle that just need a little bit more, and then you got your people like Dan who still don't have cell phones and use email, right? People like that, they're going to need to read the copy, so it's there. But those types of people will find it. For everybody else, I want to lower the barrier to entry as much as possible. So keep that in mind. This is a video version of the same form. It's still considered long form because they got to watch the video. So it's a short video telling them about this stuff. And I like my team was kind enough to stop that video at a point where I just looked as stupid as possible. And I just appreciate the heck out of them for that. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Google friendly. So where are my Google peoples? Where are my peoples at? Okay, nice, 4 of you. Good to see you guys. The rest of you, Google's kind of a big deal. Might want to give that a shot. They got some traffic, make a little bit of money. I'm just saying. Softballing that one out there. All right, so if you want to generate leads off of Google, a lot of people have heard, you can't do squeeze pages on Google. You can't drive people straight to an opt-in form on Google. It's not true. It's not true. You just have to do it the right way. We now have through the agency that we work with who runs a lot of our Google campaigns, we're able to talk. They're able to talk straight with the people at Google. And we're actually able to get a lot of our pages pre-approved ahead of time before we put them up there. So we're like, hey guys, instead of us putting up our page and you slapping us and us getting mad at you and us trying to just blindly fix it, tell us before we even go what we need to do. And if you spend enough money and you work with a good agency, they can get that service done for you. But what we hear time and time again from Google is that they hate hypiness. The owners of Google, Larry and Sergey, specifically said that they want to rid the internet of infomercial-type marketing. Yowzers. And in the past, what you want to say is like, well, screw you, that works. There's nothing wrong with it. It's been around forever. But for these guys, they still got a huge chunk of the pie, guys. We got to play by their rules if you want to go there. So when we advertise in Google, it's a totally separate domain name, separate web pages, in some cases separate offers. Because you got to tone it down. If you've got anything business opportunity related, forget about it. It's not going to happen. Google's not going to let you in. I don't care if you follow all of these landing page stuff I'm talking about. If you've got a real estate offer, it's tough. You can't talk anything about making money. All right? It's just learn about real estate. I mean, it's got to be the most tepid. You got to throw out everything you thought you knew about good copywriting for it to work in Google. And by that I mean real estate investing, not if you're selling stuff to real estate agents. But even then, you can't say, hey, here's here's how to make, $1 million as a real estate agent. I had a Google page slapped and an account banned for a hot dog cart offer. We were showing people how they could make money running a hot dog cart. It's a freaking hot dog cart, guys. And they were like, no, business opportunity, you're a scam. Like, it's a hot dog cart. Everybody loves hot dogs. Come on. I mean, you call yourselves an American company and you're going to crap on the hot dog guy? You can't do that. So they don't care. If you're talking about money making, you're going to have to tweak it a little bit. But so for the page itself, this is a landing page right now that we're doing that's working. This is built on a WordPress platform, okay? It's built on a WordPress platform, and this violates pretty much every single rule that you ever thought you knew about generating leads online. Number one, Google wants to see a logo. Logos matter. Logos are a big trust factor. And how many of you guys have heard, you don't want to have logos, you just want to have a blind opt-in form? Anybody heard that? Guess I'm the only one. Thanks, Mom. If you've heard that in the past, that was true. We tested having logos or having headers versus not having them, and it converted. Today, with the trust factor being what it is on the internet, everybody being a little bit scared and worried, we're actually getting increased conversions by having logos, professional logos. Again, if it looks funky, it's going to suppress response. Not like there's anything magical about a logo. If you just type something out in Times New Roman and cut it out and paste it up and it doesn't match the background and it looks all funky, you're going to look all funky and they're not going to trust you. So professional logos matter, not just from a conversion standpoint in some cases, but definitely to Google. They also want to see navigation. This was the biggest kick in the you-know-what of all, because we've all been told that if you have a web page that has navigation on it, it's going to suppress response. Haven't we? We've been told that? We actually did a test during our last Forex launch. And we split tested the affiliate traffic, drove half of it to a blog that had navigation, and half of it to a standard squeeze page, much like the one I showed you before. The opt-in rate was, I think, 48% to the one with the blog and 49% to the one not on the blog. It didn't seem to matter all that much. And we're finding that more and more and more, navigation is not hurting conversion rates. I still don't necessarily recommend it on your non-Google traffic, but on your Google traffic, it's not the death knell we once thought it was. This is a biggie, a non-hypey offer. The original lead magnet for this particular offer was basically how to survive the coming, apocalypse, and there's like a mushroom cloud in the background and all this stuff, and they were like, no. Can't use fear-based advertising in Google anymore. They don't want to see it. They got no interest in fear-based advertising. They want happy, positive, fun-loving crap that doesn't work. But that, again, that's their reality. So we dulled it down. It hurt conversion rates. But here's the good thing that you guys need to understand about Google, all right? Because I don't want to be all glum, making you think like, oh, man, none of this stuff works. A good friend of mine, when we were at an event, he made one of the best analogies that I've ever heard in my entire life, and I'm going to take all the credit for it right now. But what he said was, Google, what it's been over the past few years, it's been a bunch of crack dealers. We're in the hood, and it's everybody slinging crack rock, okay? And so if you've got a legitimate offer, if you don't want to be ultra hypey, if you're selling snow cones, for example, you're screwed. You don't have a chance. You can't sell snow cones next to a guy selling crack. Everybody wants crack, right? So, especially when they're giving the first one away for free. Well, what Google has effectively done is they have rid their space of crack dealers. So now, if you want to sell snow cones, that's cool. You can do it because you're not having to sell against crack dealers. So we've seen a lot of our prices in a lot of markets go down on a cost per click standpoint because we don't have the same number of competitors. And in general, we don't have to hype stuff up as much. It's really nice. Google wants to see additional articles and content. This also sucks. This does suppress response, but you got to have it. You got to have it. If you notice, though, it is all below the fold. Okay, we got the offer up top. It's below the fold. They do want to see relevant images, but not scary images. One of the images that a guy in our office had, it literally had a little girl sitting in a wheat field, like kind of rocking her baby doll, and in the back there's like this, there's like a nuclear silo that's about to explode. We're like, you know what, that might be a little much. And Google agreed. They asked us to replace that image. We also, though, and you can see it down there at the bottom, we do have a below-the-fold opt-in. If people scroll to the bottom, give them an opportunity to take action. We don't have quite the same iPath. Okay, I wish we could get quite the same iPath. There's an interruption with the text, but that's what they want to see. And here's a biggie. Here's a big, big biggie. One of the number one reasons that people get their account slapped and they don't know it because Google won't tell you because they're jerk faces is if you don't have a privacy policy and a terms of service clearly visible on your landing page, they will slap you. How many of you guys knew that? Yeah, it's a big deal. We couldn't figure out for the longest time what we were doing wrong. And finally, it was like we just forgot to put the terms of service and a privacy policy statement on there. You have to have it. It is in their terms of service that you have that. It is a violation of terms of service to be driving traffic to a Google landing page that doesn't have terms of service and privacy policy if you're gathering information. So that's how, those are kind of some basic things to keep in mind for the Google friendly. Let's talk about reverse squeeze pages real quick. We're not going to talk about this for very long because frankly they don't work all that well. This is a big trend in the launch world, and the whole idea is, and it's a good concept. Don't get me wrong, it's a really, really, really good concept. Give value first, okay? Give value first and then tell people, hey, you can opt in if you want to see more videos like this for the next one. So we tested this. I did this 20 or 30-minute video that affiliates could just send traffic. We could just send traffic to this 20 or 30-minute video, and at the end of it, hey, if you want to get the next video, go ahead and opt in. The opt-in rates were abysmal. Why do you think that is? Because they hadn't watched this one all the way. It's a consumption issue. When they have to consume your content to then take action, there's a problem, okay? In some cases, a lot of your affiliates will not send straight to a traditional landing page, like the two I just showed you before. They're going to want to send people to content. And they're going to ask that you build them a reverse squeeze page. Because again, the content's given on the front end, then the action's taken, then they can get more content. What we would rather do, what we tell affiliates who are like, hey, we don't want to send traffic straight to that, we'll tell them that don't worry about it. I'll just make you a short video, 5-10-minute video, embedded on your blog, and go ahead and send traffic to your blog, and you have the call to action be to send people to our opt-in page for more info. And that's worked out a lot better. We changed the offer that you saw before to this right here, where it was just a short little 1-minute video of me basically reading essentially what the words that are on this page. And how many of you guys have seen this type of squeeze page before? This was version 1.0. This was the very first one. Little video in the upper right-hand corner, and written on this ordinary cocktail napkin, tell the story, and ask them to opt in. Got double the conversion rates of the previous one by holding back the information and just having it be, look, if you want it, go ahead and do it. So I don't talk about reverse squeeze pages very long because they're just, kind of meh. We don't really like to use them all that much. Let's talk about info squeeze pages. So here's one of our websites in the health niche. You can check it out yourself. It's at freemetabolismcalculator.com. And I think Metabolism Calculator. We're doing a bunch of testing, so I don't know which ones are looking quite like this one right now. But this, if you notice, okay, real quick poll. What's missing from this opt-in page? Yeah, the email address field. There's no email address field here on this page. It is, calculate your metabolism for free, give us your information. Because there is no personal information requested, the number of people who fill this out is like 80-something%. It's through the roof. I mean, it depends on traffic source, but it's huge. Now, depending on the traffic source, and we got a bunch of different tests, after they fill this out, they'll go to one of two places. Some people will then go to a video sales page where it's got the results on the left-hand side, and they're saying, hey, thanks so much, and we'll direct sell them right then and there. We don't even do lead generation because some sources of traffic are so good we don't have to. For other ones, we got a middle step where we send them to a thing that says if you want us to email, enter your information here so we can email you your results. After they submit, then they go and see the video sales letter. So we two-step the process. The point is, once you have filled out a form, once you've filled out a calculator, how much more likely are you to then give somebody your name and email address so you can be sent that information? You're already committed. It goes into commitment and consistency. And they just flat out want the information. They just want to know what that's like. So these information forms, they require a little bit of creativity. You gotta think about what would be a cool calculator that I could come up with. But they work really, really well. Here's where I got the idea This is an old, I don't even know if this page or this site's still active, but this is what the South Beach Diet did. And you can see that they actually, theirs is get a free diet profile, so they have you fill it all out, and their last field is the email address field. So they go ahead and ask for it there. We tested both of them. We wound up collecting more emails and making more sales by dropping that email field from the first page. That's why you see our version. If I were you, I'd test them both. Okay? We could have had an anomaly. I'd test them both. But this is huge in fitness, huge in health. I know a lady who sells a product basically on essentially how to prepare for your impending death, which is a joyous topic. But it's basically how to make sure you're prepared from a wills and standpoint. She has you enter in a bunch of information just to see kind of how much taxes your heir is going to have to pay, and that sent her sales through the roof when she did that. Some other examples that are info squeeze pages that aren't so much, they're not necessarily squeezing a name and email address, but they're what we call self-categorizing. So how many of you guys have two very distinct groups? Like if you're in health and fitness, you got men and you got women, and you're going to sell to them differently. Anybody else do that? All right, so we've seen increased conversions by sending people to a page where they can click a button, and it's basically choose your own adventure story. They click a button, now they see something that's tailored more to them, but because they clicked a button, yeah, it's a step, but it's just a button. It doesn't substantially reduce, it doesn't substantially increase the number of people who are leaving, but the increased conversions give us a nice little bump. Here's one, Truth About Abs, one of the most profitable fitness offers on the internet right now. And that's exactly what they do. When you hit the page, what are you, man or woman? And they send you into two different paths. Good strategy. Again, not so much an email collection, but because it's an information calculator, went ahead and threw that in as well. Okay, so we talked about landing pages. Now let's talk about lead magnets. All right, so when I use the phrase lead magnet, that is the offer that you give somebody in exchange for the lead. All right, self-esteem time. You guys still with me? Yeah. Okay. Types of, this is like, to have Frank come up first and be like, hey, and it's real loosey-goosey, and then I come up and I'm like, is probably not fair. But there you go. Frank and I are not a lot alike, if you can't tell. But I love the guy. All right, so types of lead magnets, blind or none. I showed you an example of that before, and I'll show that one to you. You offer them nothing. You just say, hey, opt in to get something. Reports. You can send people to an online report, or you can send people to a PDF. Audio, streaming MP3 or a CD. Video. Flowcharts and mind maps. These are huge. I'll show you an example of a really cool way that we're using these right now. I'll show you one example, and then in the sneaky tricks, I'll show you a way that we plussed it after lunch. So how we're using kind of the flowchart mind map thing to generate a lot of leads. Or you can also do premiums, self-liquidating offers. I'll show some examples there. Or you can do what we call sandwich content, which is probably my favorite. So let's talk about these. This I already showed you. This is basically a blind offer. There is no lead magnet promised. So it is just, how did this investor pocket $1 billion? Is that a billion or a million? Well, it says zeros. Math is hard. All right. How did this one investor pocket $1 billion in one day? It's ridiculously simple once you learn the secret. It's ridiculously simple to make $1 billion in a day. Pretty good promise. But what are you getting when you opt in? What are you getting? I don't know. I have no freaking clue. Well, as it turns out, you're getting a sales letter. Lucky you. But in this example, the no content was promised and none was delivered. It's just a sales letter following the opt-in. A sales letter following the opt-in. You guys laugh. This is one of the most effective strategies out there. In some markets, they get a little ticked off by it. You got to question. I'm a big believer in what's the first transaction that you have with somebody. So if your initial transaction is kind of not so hot, if people don't have the best feeling about it, it's probably going to come back to bite you later on. So I really want, when somebody goes through that thing for that first transaction, for them to be thinking, this was great. This person really over-delivered. And when somebody opts in and you send them to a sales page, not so great in terms of a first transaction. All right? But if you test it, kind of depending on you can kind of make a moral or an ethical call there. But if you test it, a lot of times this will outpull other things because lead magnets can sometimes derail the buying process. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So this is an example. People opt in, and then they get sent to a sales letter. As long as your sales letter does have some content, by the way, which most of them do, I don't really have a big problem with this. It's like anything else, you know. You can use it for the forces of good, or you can use it for the forces of evil. Let me go back and check. Sign up for your free report now. Yeah, so they're promising a free report of sorts. There's your free report. Have fun reading that sales letter. Now, but I mean, how often? Look, I bought the A to Z info publishing. I mean, this is nothing new. This is what's been done in the offline world forever. You publish an ad. You say, send in a thing to request your free report. And what are you sending them out? A sales letter. It's just the online version of that. So again, I don't have any moral or ethical issues with it. Certainly as long as your sales letter delivers some content, which typically the best sales messages do. But you kind of got to play around with that. The way that Motley Fool does it is actually a lot better. When people opt in, you can go to fool.com and opt into some of their stuff if you want to see their process. They have people opt in, and then they actually send them to a report, which is essentially an article on different pages. And then, like, the fourth page begins the sales process. It's a version of the sandwich page, but I'm going to show you guys a version that's a lot better, a lot more profitable in just a second. So here's the name squeeze page. I showed you guys this, but we actually do promise a lead magnet. We actually do send them a report. So it's into your email address in the form below, and I'll send you free instant access to Forex gap trading, the forgotten trading system that is right 88.1% of the time. Now, in this case, what we did is we sent them the report via email. So we did actually fulfill on the promise, but as soon as they opted in, they went to a page that said, check your email inbox in a couple of minutes. Download link for the report's going to be there. While you wait, read this special report or watch a special video, and that was when we showed them the sales message. Again, that works well. You guys can test that. In a second, I'm going to show you a version that works even better. Reports versus videos. Reports versus videos. Right now, in most of the markets that we're in, and again, this is more a function of market maturation than it is, this is a broad rule, but in most of the markets that we're in, offering a PDF report is getting a higher opt-in rate than offering a video. Video has been devalued. It's been overdone. There's YouTube. People are getting videos sent to them all the time. It's not the novelty that it once was. In some markets, it still is. Okay, so you got to test this stuff. What we do is we give them both. In the example that I showed you before, people got a report and they got a video. So we can also hit the multiple modalities. But I talked before, offering videos in this case didn't work. This worked better, but the thing that worked the best was offering a report. The thing that worked the best was offering a downloadable PDF report. What worked even better than that? Hand-drawn reports. Hand-drawn reports. And I got this idea from Frank Kern. How many of you guys saw anybody on his mass control launch when he did the finger report? And he just drew a picture of a middle finger because he's Frank and that's what he does. But that was his highest, generated way more leads than anything else that he did because it's got that personal interaction. If we all admire Bill and Dan, but if they type something out and send it to us, that's one thing. If you get their handwritten, it's a much higher perceived value. Why do people collect autographs? How many of you guys were here when Cal Ripken was here and you were getting him to autograph stuff? Why do you do that? That's bizarre. You can just go online and print out a picture that's got his name on it. You know what his name is anyway. You don't need to be reminded by some squiggly lines. It's because he wrote it with his own hand. And that still has a lot of meaning for us in our culture. So when you go through the trouble of doing that or having somebody else go through the trouble of doing that for you, if you have zero artistic ability like myself, that's going to result in some of the highest opt-in rates that you can get. Either way, having a flow chart or a mind map, something that simplifies whatever it is that you're teaching them, make people go gaga. Why? Because we are lazy. We are so lazy. I don't want to read a 50-page report. I want a single sheet that's going to go to this point, this point, this point. It's going to be very systematic. It's going to tell me exactly how I need to do it so I don't have to exercise any effort or work whatsoever. That's what people want. And flow charts and mind maps and checklists, cheat sheets. You saw the offer that we had before. It was the Forex trading cheat sheets. All those things work really, really, really well. People are totally dig that stuff. We tested across a number of different markets. Here's a biggie that you may not have thought of, and I talked about it a little bit when I was up on the panel. But offering what we call self-liquidating offers in exchange for leads. So which would you rather have? A lead that gave you some money or an opt-in? Lead that gave you some money, right? I've heard it stated, I don't know, it's one of those things, you can keep quoting statistics, and as long as they're old enough and you don't know the original source, they must be true. But I've heard it said enough times from enough good sources that I believe it. Somebody that gives you any money at all, even if it's just $1, is 10 to 20 times more valuable than somebody who just opts in. That's the principle behind this self-liquidating offer. And this is something that we saw some years ago, and it's this guy that sells, guitar strings for classical guitars. So not the metal ones, I don't play the guitar. What are the guitar strings that are not metal called? Nylon, thank you. He sells nylon guitar strings, and he basically sells them at cost. Okay, he basically sells them at cost. And my buddy, who's a big classical guitarist, he's like, man, I love this guy. He's such an idiot. There's no way he's making money on these guitar strings. I know they cost a fortune. Well, what the guy's doing is he's direct importing guitar strings, and he's literally selling them at the same cost that he's buying them from the factory. Now, why would this guy do this? Big dumb idiot, right? Why would he do this? Well, my friend bought some guitar strings from him. A week later, he got an email sent to him hey, you want to buy, I got some guitars for sale, $1,200. What do you think he did? Wrong, he bought 2. But what is this eBay idiot doing who's out there selling stuff and not making any money? He's generating the most valuable list of all, a buyer's list. A buyer's list. And he's doing it for free. It's not costing him anything. What did you say, bud? Yeah, and he's creating a value perception. So it's a great, and it doesn't just have to be on eBay. It doesn't just have to be on eBay at all. Sometimes we'll go out to our list and we'll sell something very, very low ticket just to reactivate people, just to get them to take out their dang credit cards. It's a magical thing that happens. The momentum that's generated when somebody takes out their credit card, they're so much more likely to keep it out than if it always stays in their wallet. So think self-liquidating offers. Think, what can I offer that's a physical item, even if I don't make any money at all, that I can give away and let people keep? You want to go really nuts? If you got an affiliate program, let your affiliates do something like this and keep all the money. They get to sell a physical product and keep all the money. You're building a buyer's list. So think these are one of the most profitable and almost nobody does it. Almost nobody in your market does this. So you can create much more valuable offers than anybody else in your market. Okay, so the big lead magnet paradox. Not having a lead magnet can hurt your opt-in rates. It can also affect that initial first transaction that you have with your people, right? So the way to get around this whole lead magnet issue is to do what I talked about in the beginning, not have one. People opt in, thanks, here's your sales letter. But if you don't want to do that, right, if you want to have a really good first transaction, if you want to deliver tremendous value, you need to have a lead magnet. But having a lead magnet, it can derail the sales process. Somebody opts in, they get your free report, they go to read it, they think, oh, this is great, they don't finish it, they put it down, they tell themselves, I'm going to get to that later. When is later? Never. Later equals never. Put that in your brain. Anybody who's ever been in retail or car sales has probably heard of the phrase be-backs. Be-backs. How many be-backs you get today? I had, 9 people come in, they're really interested, they're going to be back tomorrow. No, be-backs. They're air, vapor, nothing. They're worth this, okay? And when you offer something that is of really good value and people kind of get into it but they don't finish it, they're a be-back. So here's some ways that you can mitigate that. Number 1, don't stretch out the delivery process of your content. How many of you guys currently have, when people opt in, a 7-day mini course on blah, 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 blah? Okay, stop doing that, okay? It's okay to have a 7-day course if they opt in for day 1 and you fulfill day 1 and then you let them go ahead and go on to day 2. What I used to do was people would opt in and we'd send them day 1 and they'd email in to customer support, which was me at the time. And but I was replying as like Sally or something because I didn't want people knowing I was doing my own customer support. So, I'd reply to them, and they'd be like, can I get day 2? I'm really excited about this. No. You have to wait. I'm building anticipation. Boy, they're going to be so stoked to buy by the time. No. Day 2, they were kind of stoked. Day 3, getting a little disinterested. Day 4, who is this person? Day 5, you're a spammer. Okay? So you can have a multi-part E-class, but let them cheat. Okay? If they want to go through all 7 days in one day, let them do that. Nothing wrong with that. At the end of one, say to watch next 2, click here. Boom, there's one. Let them walk through all of them. Okay? If they're hot, nobody will be more excited about what it is that you have to offer. They will never be more excited about what it is that you have to offer than they were that moment when they first opted in. That was when they were the most excited. You don't know what happened. You don't know what entered into their life at that particular moment. Maybe they got the letter in the mail that their high school reunion is coming up, and they're not feeling, they want to lose some weight before that happens. Maybe they got the news that there's going to be a layoff at their office. You don't know. Maybe if you wait 7 days, they might find out, good news, you're not laid off. And they're like, screw it, don't need this stuff. Okay? The moment that they found you, they sought you out, they found you, give them at least the opportunity to give you money then. Don't force them to wait or you will lose out on a lot. Now, the people that aren't ready, yes, you want to have follow-ups, you want to nurture them. But for the people who are hot, ready to go, give them the option to give you money. And you'll find that they give you more money. It's a crazy process. All right, so not dragging out the buying process. The other big thing that you can do in your lead magnets if you want to mitigate this issue is don't have these massive big lead magnets. I know people, you opt in, it's like, get the free report. It's like a 280-page report. And I don't need to buy anything from you right now. I got to get through this thing first. Okay? Stop doing that crap. Show value. You don't have to show value in terms of bulk. Show value in terms of quality. And here, so the answer to this whole thing is what we call the sandwich page, because basically what you're doing is you are sandwiching a small sliver of content between the opt-in and the sales process. It creates a nice slick chute to go through. And the example I'm going to show you, which pains me to show it because I don't like to give this guy credit, because he's a buddy of mine, but he's arrogant. So, never mind. I'll show that in just a second. All right, sandwich page. Small, easily consumed piece of content sandwiched between the opt-in page and the sales page. All right, so here's the best example that I've ever seen in my life. Yes, Eben Pagan, I'm talking about you again, but you're still a goober. All right, one of the best examples, doubleyourdating.com. I got to give Eben credit for this because he did this without even realizing what he was doing. Because I've since talked to him about it. I'm like, man, that was so genius, what you did here. And he was like, I just was bored and didn't want to write more. But it worked out great. So here's a squeeze page, a great short-form squeeze page. People opt in. The promise is you're about to learn secrets that most men will never know about women. And inside you'll learn the KISS test. How to tell if she's ready to be kissed. The difference between how men and women think about dating and why, blah, blah, blah. But the big bullet point, the KISS test. Everybody who opts in wanted to learn the KISS test. How can I know if she's ready to be kissed? And he knew that because he polled his people. That was one of their big concern for men on a first date. It's that awkward moment like, is she ready? He knew that was a big hot button, so he put that right up on top. And when you opt in, what do you get? You get the KISS test. Here it is. This is the magical KISS test. It's a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. 2 of them are only 1 line. That's the KISS test. How long would it take you to read that? Go ahead, read it. Time it. Not long. Not long, maybe a minute. No time at all. But what's cool about it is you instantly get value. You read it and you say, I bet that works. I want to try that. So value is given. It's about quality, not quantity. Tremendous value is given, but it's so easily consumed. Look, you can dump a library on people, but if they never consume it, they're never going to experience the value. All right? Give them an opportunity to experience the value by giving them an opportunity to consume it. So come up with whatever your coolest, best idea is and give them that. And the thing is, that's been said. How many of you guys have heard that? Come up with your best thing and give it away. Right? It's a concept called the free line. You guys heard that? Eben talks about it. It is one of the most misunderstood concepts in marketing that I've ever heard in my life. Because people say, oh, my best stuff? Well, I'm going to give them a whole freaking course because that's my best stuff. No, they're not going to consume it, guys. Give them your best thing. What's the really, really cool trick that you can tell them about that they go, this guy knows his stuff. I can go out tonight and I can try that and experience value. That's what Freeline content's all about. So be thinking about that. Don't be thinking, what's some special report? If right now, if you're giving away a 7-part course on something, probably somebody told you you need to have a 7-part course. Probably you only had one idea, good idea, and the rest of them kind of filler. Ditch the other ones, okay? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. I think I just said all this. All right, so here's how, after you read that though, so let me go back. So you read these whopping 6 paragraphs, then what's the call to action? Next page. What are you thinking when you click next page? More content, more awesomeness. And it looks the same. Now what he didn't do was send people from the Freeline, from his content, right? And then send them over to a sales page that looked completely different, that had a header on top and stuff like that. You break them right out of the cycle. See how it looks exactly the same? Still looks like an article? Got to do that. Got to do that. If you just send them from there and they click on next page and it goes to a page that just looks like a totally different website, or you send them to a totally different website, you've blown it. Congruent. Blah. Can't say it that many times. Congruent. So they go here, and then they see this, and wow. So they go here, then this begins the sales process. But it starts off with more content, so it eases them into it. It's the slippery chute that just keeps them going. Slippery chute that just keeps them going. They want to read. Here's a way that we did it on the for the offer that I showed you guys. We switched from sending them a report to just sending them to this short little video. It's only 2 minutes and 24 seconds long. 2 minutes and 24 seconds long, so you can still do it with video. Say, I got a video that's going to show you how to do this. Just don't have it be a 45-minute video, guys. Certainly not on low-ticket products. You don't need to do that much heavy lifting, and you're leaving a lot of people on the sidelines. All right, I want to show you. I found this squeeze page about a year or so ago. It was one of the better ones that I've seen. I kind of want to break down its different elements because it's a good kind of review for the landing page topic, and then we'll talk about getting emails opened. It's a golf offer, and another guy who owns this site does really, really well with it. So it does a lot of good things right. So if you're looking for another squeeze page to model, this is another good one to model. It's got a good demo video on the upper left-hand corner that's not very long. The cool thing about this demo video, so they're selling a long drive course. And all this guy's doing is he's like, hey, how's it going? I'm going to drive this golf ball through some plywood. Whoosh, whack, whoosh, whack. And he's just pummeling these golf balls through plywood. Proof. He's not selling anything. He's just like, I'm the man. And the idea is if I can hit a golf ball through plywood, you think I can show you how to get an extra 10, 20 yards on your drive? I mean, you instantly believe it. What Frank talked about last time in the last session about how if people aren't buying from you, they either don't want it or they don't believe. They either don't want it or they don't believe you. Demonstrating that you know what you're talking about is one of the best ways to overcome that. That video does that. So it didn't go on and on and on and on. It's just a short little video of him being awesome. We got the opt-in button right down below. Again, now if I were doing this, I would probably test a horizontal opt-in box. But they got multiple ones. They got them in the upper right-hand corner, down here. Everywhere you look, there's an opportunity to take action. They got really good proof. So you can see as seen in, Golf Digest. And guys, don't say you were seen in somewhere if you weren't actually seen in there. That's called lying. Okay? Don't do that. See, so many people do that, and they're like, well, I might have maybe run an ad there at one point. It's like, just don't do that. But here's what made this work. It's the call to action. The call to action made this work. And I went ahead and wrote it out. I'll read it to you guys. So picture this. He's just got done driving these golf balls through plywood. Okay, then he says, hi, I'm Niall. Please enter your name and email address in the form, and I'll send you 1 power secret. Not 7 power secrets. I'll send you the 1 power secret that I just used to hit these golf balls through plywood that will instantly add 20 to 30 yards to your drive. Is that a good promise? Is that a good lead magnet? So he just proved that he could do it by showing you. And he's like, I'm going to show you the one power secret. Not 10, not 20, not a book, not a course. I'll give you one power secret that will, in 12 weeks, instantly add 20 to 30 yards to your drive. Very, very good message. Really, really, really good copy. There's some things on it that aren't perfect. We talked about navigation before. I'd test removing that. The headline is free video lessons, kind of weak. This is done in a blog platform, so that was forced upon him, but there's ways to get around that by editing the CSS. The lead magnet, he talks about the one thing that I'm going to show you, but the promise is claim your 7 free HD training videos. Wait, I thought it was 1. Congruency, congruency, congruency. Okay? He promised the one big thing, and now I'm getting 7 videos. Wait, am I opting in here for the same thing he talked about there? I don't understand. And a confused mind says no. I would test orange add to cart, and orange opt-in buttons. We tested a bunch of different colors, and orange outpulled red. Red says stop. Orange is they've done studies, orange is as noticeable as red, but it doesn't say stop. That's why we think it worked. We have absolutely no idea. We just know we tested it a bunch, and that's what works. Every now and then I'll have somebody come up to me, and they'll say, oh, I tested it and green was better. Well, you know what? I'd stick with the green. But if you're looking for a control, I'd start with orange. All right, so that was, thank you, yes. Again, low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. All right. But I'm not done yet, so don't leave. All right, these next parts are not as long as the first one, though. I promise I'm going to get you started to lunch on time. So we talked about the landing page, getting more emails. You guys feel like you got a good grasp on that now? Got at least a good starting point? Okay. Part 2, we're going to talk about getting your emails opened. Getting your emails opened is a function of one thing and one thing only. Well, it's a function of 2. The first thing it's a function of is, do they know you? All right? I'm assuming that you're not spamming people. Okay, so setting that aside, hopefully you have some relationship. Hopefully they know you. But the main thing that getting your emails open is a function of is the subject line. So here are some proven subject lines. You want to think in terms of odd numbers, having weird odd numbers in your subject lines. Why you paid Google $524,838.71. Odd numbers. They don't necessarily have to be money numbers, but odd numbers are good. Question marks. Question marks in, you ask a question, there's an assumption that there's going to be an answer on the inside. Invented the question mark. Percentages, similar to question marks, they're kind of a weird little digit. 99% of people dieting need to do this. Having the little bracketized video, new video, or a free report, or putting PDF. You guys seen that? If you're sending somebody to download a free PDF, test putting PDF in brackets in your subject line. And RE as a reply. Now this is overdone a lot, and people will put in RE when it's not actually a reply. Let me tell you the right way to do an RE, to do a reply in a subject line that is also means less work for you. So it's sort of, double duty. If you send out an email promotion and you want to do an update to it or something like that, you send out an email and then you just do a reply, copy and paste, the previous email that you sent below, and then write another message that says, hey, I realized I forgot to mention this in my previous email below, so I wanted to make a special point of it. Or, hey, I don't know if you got my email below, but the offer ends on Thursday. Please read it. Then you're essentially replying to your email that you sent out. So you do RE, the same subject line you had before. It's a really good strategy, deliver some heavy open rates. If you do it every day, you just look like a tool. So don't do that. And there are some people that every freaking email I get from them says RE. And personal pronouns, you, your, etc. Some other proven subject lines, pique curiosity, confuse, or shock. Here's a good one that you'll love, Bill. And I don't know if Dan's in the room, but Bill, you're saying one of the best, one of the good ways that y'all tested for envelopes. Teasers on envelopes was do not bend, photos enclosed. All right, works really well. An envelope, I went ahead and wrote it as a subject line. Doesn't make sense. But I mean, you get an email that says, photo enclosed, do not bend. It's going to kind of pique your curiosity, and as long as there's actually a photo in there. I don't know how you're going to bend an email, but, Ryan Dice retires. Why I love hotel bars, question mark. This was my favorite. Chucklehead does 3.8 million first 2 years online. I just love the phrase chucklehead. I use it in as many things as possible. Negative subject lines. Frank did a whole video about this during his first mass control when we talked about the rubbernecker effect. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. Things are bad, ... maybe. That was one that we did that worked really well. Don't take it personally, but, I hate technology. That was one that I sent out. And one word, ... crazy. All those things kind of pique curiosity, get the open rate. So those are some subject lines you can kind of play with. And again, drivingtraffic.com/ryanhandouts.pdf. You can have these for your own swipe files. Time your email delivery helps to function, is a function of open rate. Best time, we mail out at 4:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. 4:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. That pretty much ensures, because when do most people check email? First thing in the morning. That pretty much ensures that we're right there. Best days, Tuesday through Thursday, and a big tip, weekends are great for low dollar and lead generation offers. A lot of people think, don't mail on weekends, nobody's checking their email. Horse crap. You guys check your email on weekends. You just don't have time to necessarily read them all. So take advantage of the vacuum in most marketplaces by mailing on the weekends when your competitors are not, but don't mail high-ticket offers. Mail something they can look at, read, and go, that's cool, bye. Part 3, getting the click-through. Move kind of quickly here. Short emails, as a general rule, get higher click-through rates. And I believe that the job of the email is to get the click. I'm not necessarily trying to sell an email. I like to get the click. So the shorter the email, if your email comes in most people's browser and it's all above the fold, they can see it all right there, they'll typically make a decision to go ahead and read it. If they got to scroll, then they'll make a decision of, do I want to read this now or do I want to wait and read it later? When is later? Never. So, unless you just got a really great reason, try to keep it all above the fold. Highest click-through rate link placement, have a link right after the first paragraph. Have a link midway down in the body and have a link in the close or the PS. Every email that we send out, I don't want to say every email because somebody's like, you sent an email out yesterday, I only had one. Pretty much every email that we send out, certainly if I'm the one that's writing it, has 3 links in it. Right after the first paragraph, again, pick the low-hanging fruit, get the people who need to know more, and then get the people who dropped right down to the PS and read that. It's the same 3 types of markets. Images and emails increase click-through rates up to 120%. Here's what I mean. If you're sending people to watch a video, take a screenshot of the video, insert it, you've got to do an HTML email to do this, but insert it into your actual email where the play button is visible. If you see what looks like a video in your email inbox, people click on it, go, cool, I can watch a video. Oh, it opens in a new video, in a new window. But you still got the click, and as long as the video that starts playing is the same video that they thought they clicked on, there's nothing wrong with it. You're delivering what the promise is. But if it's just an image, the click-through rates aren't near as good as if it's an image, a screenshot of the video with the play button still visible. Okay? The play button is what makes that work. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're now moving into sneaky tricks, which we're going to talk about after lunch. So I will go ahead. We only got 4 minutes, not enough time to take questions. So you guys cool, Sherry, if I finish 5 minutes early, maybe we come back 5 minutes past? Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all after lunch. Come back.